Hello there everybody, Dodgy Gamer here, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to episode 42 of Andorra, the double challenge in which I take charge of the club, FC Andorra, and the country of Andorra, and try to lead them both along the road to glory. And what an interesting season it's been so far. We've made it to February, we've passed the January transfer window without any major departures. We've kind of kept the team together and going forward, and as you can see, we're sitting in third place at the moment. I'm going to bring you one match today. We're playing Leganes, who are in fifth, just 2 points behind us, so a pretty big game in that battle for automatic promotion spots. We're going to start off with a quick look at squad dynamics, as that dominated the earlier episodes from this season, that transfer window trilogy, if you want to go back and check it out. But as we left it last time, we lost Vukotic, Harwood, Bellis and Miller in the transfer window, and then we had Russell and Guedes and Crush unhappy after the transfer window because they felt we'd weakened the squad and we hadn't kept our promises to them. So what's the status now? Well, you can see in some respects we've turned things around with those key players. Crush, you see here, he's now a highly influential player at the club and he's very happy. Once the interest in him cooled after the summer transfer window ended, he said he was happy to stay. There are still teams interested in him now. Cincinnati were making bids for him in the January transfer window, but he said he only had a slight interest and he didn't mind when we turned the bids down. Then we've got the Rochdale wonder kid, Lee Russell, who was unhappy about what he perceived as the weakening of the team, but thanks to our league form, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment, he changed his mind. He thought we're actually performing well, we're exceeding expectations, so I'm happy to stay. Thanks, Russell. And the other person who was not feeling it was Guedes. He was unhappy about the weakening of the team. Also, then he became unhappy about his playing time. He's a bit more of a temperamental player. He wasn't playing well when I put him in the team as an unhappy player, so I dropped him. We got Rico in, who can play in defensive midfielder, who has been pretty solid and consistent. So Guedes has spent a lot of this season so far bench warming. So now he's a bit unhappy because of that, because he thinks his playing time is too low, but otherwise he's decided he wants to stay. But you may have spotted a couple of unhappy faces, and these are difficult ones because they're a couple of the senior players in the team. We've got Cortina, the captain of the team and one of the leaders of the team. We've got slightly unhappy. Again, I wasn't playing him as a starter in the beginning of the season. He got unhappy about that. I thought I can't afford any more Discord. Speaking of Discord, please do check the link in the description for my channel Discord. Yeah, I thought I don't want any more problems in the squad, so I decided to give him his playing time. And it's been like 4 months now, and he's still saying he's expecting to play, and he's concerned about his overall playing time. I don't know when he's going to be happy. And then we come to, whoa, Benabedi, bow to bow. He is very unhappy, asking to leave, devastated, because he's just not getting a look in. We're only playing one striker. Russell's the guy. And to be honest, Benedetti, if I just show you his stats, I mean, he had a good season for us in the past, but when he started 2 games, and he's been very ineffective. Nothing off the bench either. He scored in the cup, but against a 3rd division team, so he hasn't really impressed. However, this guy, Fran Navarro, only 1 start, 9 appearances off the bench. He's bagged 6 goals. He's a super sub. He's our Solskjaer. But on to our performances so far in this season. I mean, you would have seen that early win against Albacete, and as you can see, we've been around the top 4 pretty much the entire season. We were top after a couple of games. We hung around in 2nd place. We got up to top again. But then we had a match with Coruña that we lost. And then we dropped down to 4th. And then we've kind of been fluctuating around. We're currently sitting in 3rd. And the good news is with Barcelona B leading the way again, that means 3rd at present is an automatic promotion spot. So it's where we want to be. So you can see here our results. I mean, we've been good. We've been winning consistently. The big difference from last season is we have had a couple of big wins. We had a big win against Barcelona B, a 4-1 victory, which put us top of the table. Perez got a hat-trick that day. It was absolutely fantastic. One of the best performances we've had while I've been in charge. We've also had big win against struggling teams like Tarragona and Extremadura. These were, you know, satisfying wins, bigger than expected, but you'll see a lot of the other wins are quite narrow. We've had, you know, these 1-0s, 2-0s, 2-1 wins. So in a sense, it's good that we've been grinding out results, but also we've kind of been lacking a killer touch. There's been times when we've dropped points because we've been the better team, like in this game against Mirandes. We've been the better team, but, you know, our opponents have just taken their chances better. Also here we lost to Alcoron, who are down in the bottom half of the table, a late goal after we dominated the match. Against Eibar at home, we conceded early, and then it was just all about FC Andorra, pressure, 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 but we just couldn't get that breakthrough. And then you can see so far this year, since the winter break, we started off with back-to-back 0-0s, which hasn't happened to FC Andorra before. And then against some teams lower down in the table, Oviedo and Numancia, got some decent wins there. But then most recently we lost to Las Palmas, and look, it was injury time again. This was something that was happening to us a couple of seasons ago, and, you know, we've got to buck that trend. And the cup run was disappointing. Second year in a row this has happened. We were able to beat a lower division side quite easily, and then we were knocked out by a second division B side, a bit embarrassingly. This time it went to penalties again fairly late. It was 82 minutes. They managed to grab an equaliser, and then they won the penalty shootout. Anyway, on to today's game. Leganes, they've been floating around in the playoff spots for most of the season, but they haven't really got any higher than 4th or 5th, so they'll be looking for a big win to leapfrog us today. We're looking for a win. It's a bit of a 6-pointer, because if we win, we open quite a gap on them, and we get to keep up with Eibar in second. Okay, so this is the lineup we're going with today. It's our classic formation, but it's the balanced version, acknowledging the fact that Leganes are actually favourites for this game. We've got Hodzic, Justiniano. Now, he's a player who's a little bit unhappy. I'm trying to give him a bit of game time to get him on side at the moment. His contract is up in the summer, and so far his agent is being a real arse. He's, you know, like haggling over the tiniest little things, and just 2 or 3 steps in the negotiation, and then he says, I'm pulling my client out of these talks. So we're waiting for the opportunity to sit him down and get pen to paper again. We have been having a bit of injury trouble at left back. Both Cisse and Hernandez went down injured at the same time. They've both just returned. We've been using a 17-year-old from the youth team throughout January. Cisse's back. We've got Hernandez on the bench today. We're going with Cortina because he still thinks he needs the extra playing time. Macias and Rico as the trio in the middle. Balde and Fofana, because we're having a bit of injury trouble at the moment. Perez is unfortunately out. Russell up front. It should be a good enough team to sneak a win, but let's see if we can actually realise that. So we've got similar formations by the looks of things. Well, let's get into the dressing room and give the team talk. Okay, so Leganes are in better form than us. Let's raise our game to their level. Hasn't really stoked the fire, but we'll add a quick faith, and that's kind of done the trick. Increased motivation and confidence. By the way, do stick around, because after this match there will be news on the Andorra national team and the European Championship playoffs. Right, first highlight then, and it's a free kick to Leganes. It's headed over. Took 25 minutes to get there, and very brief highlight. We have not had a shot yet. That is not good. I've already used demand more, and what? Someone's been sent off? Who was sent off? It was one of their players, Ruben Perez, for throwing an elbow. Well, that's just changed the complexion of this game. Okay, throw in for us, a chance to build our first real attack of the half. Hodzic launches one forward to Russell, comes out to Fofana. Fofana, can he get the cross in? No, he can't, but Cisse could. Cisse, come on, get a cross in. You've been doing it so many times. What are you waiting for? You're waiting to get wide and unmarked, I see. But he's still not doing it. Okay, Fofana gets hacked down. See, this is where I feel we're just lacking the penetration this season. Is it the lack of Vukotic dictating play from deep? I'm not sure, but that's the major change we've had, of course. Maybe it's the lack of Millar cutting in off the wing. But there we go. We finally get the shot off. Fofana played the through ball to Russell, but it's saved by the keeper. Right, time for one more highlight, it would seem. Again, the ball comes to Cisse. We're stronger down this left-hand side, that's for sure. Hodzic and Justiniano just dilly-dallying at the back. Okay, let's get it forward. Let's keep it moving. It comes to Cisse again. They keep doing these backward passes. We weren't doing these last season. Deary me, this is very kind of boring. It's like we're playing Real Madrid and holding out for a 0-0. Oh, come on, guys. Just a bit of forward movement. I think Leganes are just pressing us a bit much. But there we go. We burst forward suddenly. Ooh, Russell hits the outside of the post. Right, I'm going to tell the team that I'm just not pleased with what I've seen. Get them a bit motivated. I mean, Russell's only on a 6.4. He's been a bit inconsistent. When he was unhappy, he was scoring goals. And then he decided he was happier and maybe he didn't have a point to prove anymore and the goals kind of dried up. Right, Macias is not having a great game, so we're going to bring on Javi Munoz, who's dependable and should be able to do something for us. I'm tempted to pull Russell off. What I think I'll do for now is I'll move Russell out to the right, as we've done in the past, and I'll bring Navarro on up front. Okay, here we go. Andorra now with the chance. The header goes wide, though. Come on, boys. We've got to break these guys down. Okay, so I'm going to switch things up to the positive version of our tactic here. Just, we'll put Rico on more of a support, deep line playmaker role, and just try and get him forward a bit more. We'll make Munoz also in his Mazzala role. We'll make him attacking, and hopefully just pushing them a bit, counter-pressing, hopefully more of that Gegenpressing style, now that we've got the man advantage, is going to turn the tide for us here. Nice play out, good spot to see Cisse free there. It gets it to Fofana. He's a frustrating player. It has to be said. Oh, that should have been a goal. That was almost a gift to Navarro. Anyway, here we go. We pick up the ball from the goal kick. Biancone, who's been a very good signing this season, it has to be said, plays it to Cortina. Cortina smashes one in. First goal of the season. He's finally justified his insistence on being in the team. Well, good. Yes, let's have a closer look at that. Biancone, he played the sensible ball, played it along, well, not quite along the ground, but he just picked out Cortina along the edge of the box, is what I meant to say. Cortina, we've seen him score those many times. Good goal. I'm just going to bring Hernandez on for this last few minutes. Cisse, obviously, his match fitness is not the sharpest, having just come back from his injury. Hernandez had a lesser injury. I think he was out with a virus, actually, whereas Cisse was out with a hamstring problem. Thankfully it was disallowed. That's the kind of problem we've had this season, just losing concentration late on and conceding these goals. Yeah, but we see all the defenders had stepped up. That was a clear offside. We got away with that one. And we survived till full time. It was a 1-0 win in the end. I think that sending off was crucial. Without the sending off, I'm not so sure we would have been able to pull off the win. But, you know, we'll take it. We can only play the number of players put in front of us. I'll say don't get complacent for the next match. So that moves us level with Eibar. Unfortunately, they have beaten us, so they maintain that second place on the head-to-head record. Gijon, Sporting Gijon, also won, so they remain just 2 points behind, but we've managed to open up that gap on Leganes. There's still a way to go in the league. The next episode, as I said, is going to be an international one. More on that in just a second. But we have an interesting run-in. Basically, February, March to early April. This is going to be crucial for us because this is where we play a lot of the teams that are fighting for promotion or playoff spots. So we've got Barcelona B away, we've got Coruña, we've got Zaragoza, we've got Mallorca, we've got Sporting Gijon. But then, in the kind of final run-in through the second half of April, May and into June, Eibar is the only really top team that we're going to play. The rest of the teams we play are teams down in the lower half of the table. Your Atletico Madrid Bs, your Alcorons, your Huescas. Now, we have dropped points against these guys in the past. It's no guarantee that we will win. But if we can get through this tough period in March and pick up a few points, get a bit of form and confidence, then that's going to put us in a very good position for that run-in. But now the news you've been waiting for, and that is about our next episode. We will be back on the international scene with Andorra, and we will be in the European Championship qualifying playoffs, having won our Nations League group, and we've been drawn against a familiar foe, North Macedonia. I am not entirely sure how North Macedonia got into the Championship qualifying playoffs. I know it's all very complicated. I looked at their Nations League. They were relegated from Nations League Group B. I'm guessing then the other teams in their Nations League group had already qualified by other means or got a playoff place, so because they finished 5th in our group. But it's good news. We then stand a chance if we can beat them. Then we're just 90 minutes away from being at the Euros. So make sure you join me for the next episode. That's going to be a big one. But thank you for tuning in today. If you have enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm Dodgy Gamer, and I'll see you again soon.